right, y'all. We about to get busy here. This is how we do it every Tuesday, y'all, with me and Dusty. It's about to go down. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. You're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. It's about to go down like 4 flat tires and a broken elevator, y'all. It's about to go down, go down, go down. Dusty, I see you in the dugout. Here we come. Batter up.
Oh, yeah. Let's knock this out the park, baby.
Do this, baby. How you feeling,
man, I can't complain, dude. I can't complain. I'm in my AC in my home. I ain't stepped foot outside because it's hot as hell, so I'm good, man.
No, what is that hot? It's not that hot where I'm at. I'm over here not too far from Gardena, and it's kind of cool. I'm out in the backyard till the boy came to the show. But I got to put the AC on in the studio, though, boy.
Oh, most def.
Right
well, man, let's jump right into it, dude. Let's catch up first, though, man. I know you took a trip to Sacramento. How was that?
Man, it was great, dude. Young lady, Liz Kim, booked Yella, myself, and clientele to do a panel on civil rights and hip hop, and talked about gun violence. And man, we spent a lot of time in a redeveloped area up in Sacramento, where Kevin Johnson, the former mayor and former King's Guard, Sacramento King's Guard, had just renovated a bunch of property, nice little theater, restaurant, fixings. I mean, we grew up like a son bitch over there. Went to the black-owned brewery, and we hung out with Slim and Husky over there, man. So we had a good time, man. And some of my boys showed up. My boy Easy Steve showed up. He came out and hung out with us for a minute. So it was all good, man. And then my boy Shakespeare and my partner Fat, who just got out of the penitentiary for doing 34 years. He was able to come out and hang out with us, man, and it was really a great reunion for all the fellas, man. We was only missing one person, man.
Damn, just that one, huh?
That one, Doc. Just that one. And that
See if we can ever.
And what's crazy, that was Shakespeare's first time ever signing autographs with us.
Wow, what?
With us, nah. I mean, especially he don't have a book or anything like that. He might have done some stuff back in the day with Wrecking Crew, but this is the first time with him being with me and Yella and clientele, and being able to sign the Turn Off the Lights 12-inch. I still got some of those. I'm almost out of those, but people were able to get 3 out of 4 signatures on their 12 inches. It was good. It was a good day, man.
That's dope, man. Did you guys, when you were coming up, did you have a big following up in Northern California?
Yeah, that was our first gig, was in Sacramento, man. Our very first gig was in Sacramento, a club called The Vortex. It was funny because Fat, the brother who just got out of the penitentiary, played a big role in that particular event, because I was trying to get my van at the shop. I told you about this story about me and the guy about to get into it about my van, and we had to rent a U-Haul. And Fat climbed under the truck and disconnected the odometer, so I didn't pay all that damn mileage. It was Fat was a street kid, so he knew all kind of little tricks that most people didn't pay no attention to. It was all good though.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Welcome home, Fat, man. His story is amazing. Check out the interview Lonzo did with him in the archives.
I'm bringing him back tomorrow. We're doing another one tomorrow, man.
Nice.
Another one tomorrow, Doc. He got some more stuff he wants to share with the folks, and we're gonna make that happen.
You know what? Someone else I wanted to jump in with you, but I was busy that day, is Swamp Dogg. How did that go?
You know what? I went to his party. It was great, man. I didn't make it to his concert. I had to catch a plane. Had to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get ready for that. By the time I looked up, it was about 9 o'clock. I said, I ain't gonna make all this and still be worth for them to get to Sacramento. But it was great. I went to his party, man. And Swamp Dogg for a blues singer, his following is predominantly white. And it's amazing, man. It was predominantly white. And I went to his backyard. I forgot about that. I turned the corner, went to his backyard. Like, yeah, that's right. Swamp Dogg has a big white following, huge. It was nice. It was maybe five black people there. Okay,
interesting.
2 of them was Swamp Dogg. One of them was Swamp Dogg.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now, explain, because you introduced Swamp. You talked to him for a few minutes and posted it on your channel. You said you're the godfather of West Coast hip hop, but you introduced him as what?
The grand godfather.
Okay. Why do you think he has that title?
Because if it wasn't for Swamp Dogg, it wouldn't be no Lonzo. Swamp Dogg put me up on all my knowledge. I mean, he took me under his wing and we laughed. I was funky under there, but he took me under his wing and taught me 90% of what I knew. I learned it in the record business in the very beginning. And he told me to watch out for certain things. And sure enough, the things he told me to watch out for, they came to fruition. And he just demanded the record deal. When you go to a major, Lonzo, they're going to put you on the shelf. Right now, you can drop a record whenever you get ready to. When you get to the major, you got to wait for them. And if artists come out bigger than you, they're going to push you back. And he showed everything he said came true, Doc. So that's much respect.
That's dope. And you were young at that time, but you had good people around you, older men, guiding you and things like that who are already in the industry. But what is one thing that you may not have listened to and you had to learn the hard way when it comes to the rap game or the hip hop game or the music game?
Oh, man, you know what? Don't want to sound like I'm perfect, but I pretty much heeded to all. It was hard for me to disseminate the information to my folks because they didn't have the same information I had. So the game I got, when I tried to share it, it met resistance. So I can't say, but they always said, don't spend up all your money. Didn't spend up all my money. Buy you a house. Bought a house. I did. I pretty much did what all the old schools told me to do. And he said, whatever you do, don't sell your soul. And I still got it, as far as I know.
That's dope, man. Yeah, and if you have any comments down below or questions for the Godfather, please comment down below. I'm copying and pasting all that, and we're going to get to all that tonight. But there's a couple things I want to get out of the way because it's been a big week for you. You were on a very popular podcast. This is your second time, and the first time you were on it, I think he was on episode 11. Now he's pushing 268 or something like that. But the legendary Tony A. How did that Rhodium Radio interview go?
Man, me and Tony A always have a good time together, Doc. We have a great relationship. Although we had come from two different cultures, we understand each other, He asked me some questions. I was able to get some things out that that was kind of on my mind. And I told him a lot of stories that he never heard before. It's always good with Tony, man. It's always good. I watch his podcast from time to time. And he started around the same time. He's got quite a few more numbers, but it's all good. Ain't no jealousy. And he giving me game all the time about, hey, man, you do this, Lonzo, do this. And that's the only thing that I need to probably need to give me some more sponsors. My ass be so busy, I ain't got time to call nobody.
Yeah, damn, I tell you, man, I understand that plight right there, dude. But yeah, Tony A, man, legend in this game, Rhodium Swap Meet. Take us back to when you... And I know we've talked about this before, but take us back to when you remember meeting Tony A.
Tony A, I met him at the swap meet, at the Rhodium swap meet, hanging out with Steve. He was like one of Steve's dudes. I mean, he was Steve's DJ. I believe, don't hold me to this, he would come with Steve sometime to pick up records. He was a skinny dude, skinny, slim, like most of us were back then, And it took me a minute to realize who he was. I remember the name. But he got so much bigger. He got so much taller. I didn't recognize him at first till we saw some pictures. Oh shit, that's who you turned into. Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you saw those early records of him in High C, he was a little skinny dude, man.
Skinny dude, man, just like Drake.
Cut up and yeah. So yeah, Tony A. Do you remember hearing High C's name, or was he more like later in your career?
Tony C played Eve After Dark.
High C did.
I see played Eve After Dark, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's from the neighborhood. Well, he's from Compton, and at that time, Bone was managing him, and he had just came out with his record, and they brought him up there. He was on what's that label? Scandalous Records. Steve, he was on Steve.
Yeah,
Scandalous Records, and he did a show up at Eve After Dark. Yeah.
Cleabone was managing him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One thing I remember him getting a lot of slack for is people comparing him to Eazy-E because of his voice, short guy, Do you think that was one of the reasons why he didn't, he had a couple of hits, but, maybe that he didn't get as far as he probably should have?
Nobody in that camp got as far as they should have. Even Quick, as much as I love his music, he didn't blow up to the, he's not on the same status as a Dre. You know, and in some ways, I think he's just as talented, more talented than Dre in some things. And I like his sound. I love, I like most of what he's done. And I've told him to his face a couple of times, your music sometimes is too good for hip hop. You know, you need a singer on top of your shit. You know, when he did that song with Tony, that he did it with the bars.
Forget about it.
It's still banging today. Okay,
man. Yeah. Now that I feel a little better than I did a while. Man, that shit is my man.
Still banging. Come on.
For real. Hey, Derek says, Lonzo, on the Rhodium Radio podcast, after you mentioned Kid Frost, and he was thinking the other person's name is Be Real. He's asking, were you trying to say Be Real?
It was my other boy, man. Y'all done caught me off guard again. I think I can see his face. My Cuban brother.
Mellow Man Ace?
Mellow Man. Thank you. Mellow Man Ace. That's what I was thinking about. Mellow Man Ace. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mellow Man Ace.
What was the question? Do you remember what the question was that you were clearing up? And that
I forgot what the question was. We were just talking about, I think we were talking about Latino rappers, or I was trying to give examples of somebody doing something that may be on the black tip. If Mellow Man Ace did some stuff, did some of the same things that YG did, people would have a fit,
Gotcha. Okay. Now, I'm glad that came up. I haven't finished the interview, but I was hoping that you guys would talk about that Tyga situation. Good. I'm only about 20 minutes into the. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, it's interesting. He's getting a lot of slack for that. Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. Shout out to Rhodium Radio. If you are not familiar, please go subscribe to them. He has some dope, awesome content. If you are a hip hop lover, you will definitely appreciate Tony A's show on Rhodium Radio.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep it pushing. Man. You know what? In that interview, I have a couple of questions for you as a hip hop nerd. So I would love to know about these two situations because I don't think we've ever talked about them personally. Maybe we have, but I don't think we have. You mentioned General Jeff and him not acknowledging you, RIP, from what I understand, right. But him not acknowledging you as the godfather of West Coast hip hop, or him having some doubts about you being the godfather of West Coast hip hop. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. I tried.
Where did that come from?
His lack of knowledge, his ignorance. Somebody posted something on Facebook one time, and he goes back. Somebody tell Lonzo he's not the godfather of the West Coast hip hop, and I ignored it for weeks, man. I kept ignoring it, and then he pushed the button one day, and I had to go in on him. And when I went on him, he shut up because he doesn't realize that the reason why he got exposure in the first place is because of the company that I created, West Coast Record Distributors. That was something that I came up with the idea for when I left Pocola, because Unknown and I had did another distribution company together. We did a Pacific Coast after we left West Coast, and then but again, the idea for doing West Coast was my idea, and I'm the one that put everybody together and presented it to them and made the drive down to Palm Springs and made all the connections, and that's the reason why Rodney O and Joe Cooley was able to come out, because of West Coast Record Distributors. He's a pop locker. And some people at one point, some people in this game, especially now, because they're talking to people who are so much younger than them, they don't know. The people who they're talking to don't really know the history. They can't refute or even question them. So people blow themselves up to be bigger. And then when somebody walking to the room, a lot of that shit shuts down, because it's like, okay, this motherfucker right here, he ain't but three day ones on West Coast hip hop. It's 3 day ones, okay, and some day one A's and day one B's, but 3 day ones on West Coast hip hop is me, Roger from Uncle Jam's Army, and Unknown DJ. We're the day ones. Before it was hip hop, we were doing our shit. We the only ones that transitioned from the DJ and dance promotion into making records, performing, things of that nature. There are other people who are around, but they weren't as progressive as we were, and we never stopped. I mean, here we're still doing it today. Shit, I'm still doing it today. So and most people don't know that. If guys like Jeff, he came in like 80, 86, 87, dude. We was already doing this shit in 1978. You was in the 10th grade, wherever you were. You weren't with us, but because again, most people want to equate my credibility with my musical talent or my musical skills, whatever. No. I had to go I had to go do the hard work to lay down the tracks and grade the ground so we can lay the tracks down. It wasn't no tracks yet. So being a trailblazer has its disadvantages. Even the people I blazed the trail for don't know my true history. Dre don't know what I've done. You ask Dre, he knows Leave After Dark. That's all they know. So, but people who have been around for a long time, and here's where the trick comes in at. You have people who were dance promoters and DJs back in the early 80s. A lot of them moved on to do other things, but they watched me and Roger do our thing, and pretty much up until he passed, and still do our thing today. So we don't get the same recognition as maybe a Cool Herc, because Grandmaster Flash took what Cool Herc did and perfected it. And I had different roles, multiple roles, clubs, record labels, distribution, all that. So it makes a big difference. And most folks don't know. I don't even think Jeff ever been to my house. I can't recall him ever been in my house. So if you've never been to my house and you're in hip hop, West Coast hip hop, you don't know nothing. Okay, you never been to Lonzo's house and you wasn't call yourself a West Coast hip hop anything in the 80s. You never came to Lonzo's house. Your credibility is minimal, because my house and my clubs were the focal points of West Coast hip hop in the early days.
Yeah. Man, there it is, straight from the horse's mouth, man. How did West Coast distributors come to be between you, Egyptian Lover, Rudy Pardee? How did you guys even think that big back then?
Well, I was the last one to leave Macola. Egypt came through. He left first. Rudy left second. Me and Unknown was still there. I left for a minute, went to Epic, and I came back. Macola had the new friends, and he was kind of struggling, and it was only a matter of time before he went out of business. And because I had record distribution experience prior to coming to Macola. Again, my last job was working for a record distributor. That's what I did. Sold records on the phone. So I had that list. I was already established here in the city with the VIPs and the Magic Disc and everybody selling records already locally. So I knew the game. I'm selling. Swamp Dogg had turned me on to everybody nationally, the Associated Records, Selecto Hits, Schwartz Brothers. I was already billing these guys. So back then it was basically a matter of creating a record, boxing the record, shipping the record, billing the company, and getting the money. And that's what it was. But again, because the four of us, Dream Team, Egyptian Empire, Crew Cut, and Techno Hop, were the big boys at Macola, it only makes sense for us to do what we did. And when I brought it to them, they didn't get it there first, but they thought about it. And once we had everything in order, Atrid and I made all the runs to make everything happen. I took him, hey, this is what we got. This is what we can do. And we all went to Steve Shelton collectively, and that's when he gave us a $25,000 line of credit, each one of us. Well, we had $100,000 collectively. We met with Georgia CRD, California Record Distributors down in Burbank, and it was a unique deal, but it worked. And we didn't have a whole bunch of money to make it work. What made it work was our label credibility and our record selling ability. Rudy had success with LA Dream Team. He came out of West Coast banging with JJ Fad. Egyptian Lover was already selling records with his label. Then he came out with Rodney and Joe Cooley. Unknown was doing his thing. He dropped Vanilla C and King T over there. And I came with the Compton compilation. So we all came with bangers. We was already hot, so as opposed to somebody making us hot, we knew we had at that time, we had our finger on the pulse like nobody else. And later on, other labels tried doing the same thing. They didn't have our same magic touch. We was already hit makers. We weren't just labels trying to hire artists to blow them up. We were artists that was blown up, that was bringing other people on, putting other people down.
Okay. And you know what? I'm glad you said that name because you also mentioned that name during the interview with Tony A. Vanilla C. I don't know much, if anything, about Vanilla C. Can you talk to us about Vanilla C?
Vanilla C was a young lady that was on the Compton compilation, and she was a tight rapper, very tight. She was off the chain. My boy Charles Turner picked her up. He gave her a single deal through his company, City Fresh Records, and then later on, Unknown picked her up and did a deal with her also. And she was hot for a minute, but she never got the breaks that she really deserved. I mean, her talent, it was much harder back then to break a female artist, especially if he wasn't taking the clothes off. And that just made it, that much more difficult.
Yeah, cute girl too. I'm looking at her video. Is Vanilla Don't Play? Does that sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, never heard from her. But yeah, she doesn't look like the type to take her clothes off. But damn, dude. Vanilla C, man. Do you know if she's still around or maybe not doing music, but okay.
I haven't talked to her in a while, but some of the guys run into her. I think she lives out in Vegas now. I need to pop on. I need to try and track her down. I'm gonna look up on Instagram so I can find her.
That would be an interesting interview. I would love to hear her side of things, especially from a female aspect.
Yeah, she had a tight flow. She was a good writer, and Unknown did some good production for her. It just didn't take off.
And you know what? That's one name who I wish he would do more interviews and things like that to get his story out there. But Unknown, for you to say that he was one of the ones at the beginning, that's just so huge when it comes to West Coast hip hop. And I wish he would capitalize off that, but he's not budging, huh?
I might get him on an audio interview. I want him to do a video.
Yeah. Even audio, man, just he needs to, even if it's just him telling his story, man, he needs to, I don't know. I'm not telling him what to do with his life, but I would love to know his side of things too.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Come on, Unknown. Please. Salute to the chat room real quick before we continue. Thank you guys so much for tuning in every Tuesday to this show and every Thursday to Legendary Connects. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and most importantly, hit that notification bell so you can get alerted when Lonzo releases content. Let's see. Folks don't realize that DJ Unknown did a few tracks for Compton's Most Wanted. Yeah. Compton's Most Wanted was always shouting out Unknown back in the day. I remember that. And King T used to shoot him out a lot.
We did their first album.
That's right. Of course.
Their first Compton's Most Wanted album.
Yeah.
When they were on the Compton compilation, he came to me, hey, man, I want this group. Okay, cool. And they went on, they had a deal with Orpheus, and he did their first album, him and Slip.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's right. King D Young says, Lonzo, I know it's off topic, but do you have any stories of the Mighty Dramatics? I love them.
Yeah, me too. That was my boys, man. It was my favorite. But man, I grew up on the Dramatics. I had a chance to work with the Dramatics. Having nightclubs allows you to work with a lot of people. And in fact, Michael Henderson, I just heard he passed. He was another actor I booked at my club. But Dramatics, I had them at the Current Affair. And man, it was like, I don't know, hanging with superheroes, Ron Banks was still with him, LJ Reynolds. At that time, they still had Squirrel, LJ, Lenny Mays, Ron Banks, and Squirrel, Ron Banks, Lenny Mays, LJ, and Ron, I'm missing somebody. It was all of them was there. All the originals were still there, and they came. They played the Current Affair. That was one of the times me and Roger we were still trying to make the Current Affair, getting the Current Affair off the ground, and we were working together on this particular show. And man, I got pictures with him. I mean, I got pictures with him. We kicked it big time, and they just were some cool dudes, man. My boy with the deep bass, I think that's Lenny Mays. He pulled Eddie Kane on my ass, right? We about to, it's showtime. We ain't found this dude yet. Nobody know where he ain't called, nothing. And Willie Ford, thank you, man. Thank you, Willie Ford. And man, all of a sudden, Willie come through the back door and walk straight on stage. They was already on stage without him. Just like Eddie Kane from the goddamn 5 Heartbeats. He walked on stage at the Current Affair, came to the back door, and the front door, came to the front door, got dropped off, and walked right on stage just in time to start doing the show, and jumped right on this shit. I had LJ Reynolds at the Eve After Dark. In fact, then I had LJ had gotten some different dramatics and was still doing a dramatic show. And a friend of mine was doing a concert at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Theater. And we had the after party at Eve After Dark. And that's where I had a chance to kick it with LJ Reynolds and some of the new brothers in dramatics. But yeah, man, it's nothing horrible. But again, dude, it was like you hanging with your superheroes, man. These, and I was 15, 16, these cats was dropping what you see is what you get, and get up and get down. And I'm getting up and getting down to the best of my ability. So and I understand how people look at us, because I didn't get it for a while, but you're somebody's a part of your childhood. You get a chance to meet them, and it just makes a big impact on your life when you get a chance to meet somebody who you once admired from afar.
Yeah, man.
And they cool.
Isaiah. And they're cool. Is when they're a dick, that's what really sucks. You're like, dang, man, I admire you all this, and you're a dick, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah. Motherfucker. Go ahead.
Yeah. You don't strike me as somebody who would turn down an autograph or something.
Man, you know what? I sign autographs all the time. Sometimes people, man, you gotta make them pay you for that. You know what, man? Look.
Or a picture. Yeah, no.
This person drove all the way down here. It's gonna cost me some ink in 10 seconds to sign this shit, man. And I don't do shit like that. I prefer you buy a book and support my move. But if guys come down sometime and they'll have all our records, we'll may spend 2 or 3 minutes just signing one guy's whole collection of world-class record crew shit. And the fact that they came down here, man, dude, that's honor within itself, man. We had one dude out of Arizona. Me, Yeller, and Clientele were in Palm Springs, and Steve drove all the way from Arizona just to get our autographs, man. How am I gonna charge that man for autograph, dude?
Wow.
I couldn't be as big of a dick. He drove all the way down, and then he turned us on to another venue that booked us again, and we ended up making a shitload of money, so it was all good anyway. And that's the part of sometimes by not being an asshole, people look out for you. And I tell people, man, sometimes them little old $2 and $3 that you get right now, if you just be cool, you'd be surprised what kind of doors people will open up for you, and they realize you're not an asshole.
Exactly. Sometimes it ain't about the upfront money. Sometimes it's about the back end, and our people really need to understand that. It's not about. Sometimes it's just be patient, and shit will come together.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah says, Dusty, Lonzo, Niggas for Life or Straight Outta Compton? Which album was harder? I love Straight Outta Compton personally. What about you, Lance?
Same one, same thing.
Yeah. I mean, Niggas for Life was dope. I'd rather F you, ooh, yeah. I love how they flipped that. Like, to this day, that's me and my girls, one of our songs on our, little Thang CD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but yeah, but I'm gonna go Straight Outta Compton, definitely. Nightbreed says, yo, Lonzo and Dusty, were there any other tough guys at Ruthless, such as Mike Klein? And could you shed some light on what he told Suge Knight to back off easy? That's all you, player.
I just did an interview with Gary Ballin a couple of weeks ago, Jerry's cousin. He said he'll come on the show also. I'm going to get him on here as well. And Gary asked me about Mike Klein. And when I was introduced to Mike Klein, some people are cool, but you can tell they got a different kind of side to them.
Explain who Mike Klein is real quick.
Mike Klein worked with Jerry Heller at Ruthless Records. And he was, according to Jerry Heller, he was an Israeli soldier. This dude wore slacks and combat boots. He wanted to be fucked with.
Yeah, don't mess with a dude who wears slacks and combat boots.
He wore suits and combat boots, man. Shiny combat boots. Like he was ready to kick off in your ass at any given moment. I don't recall him ever not wearing fucking them cop boots. The kind that's good to run on. He wore shit like that. Okay, so it wasn't a dude to fuck with. He was super cool. We always got along. But Jerry, he explained he was I forgot the name of the Jewish organization he was a part of. But and I'm quite sure if you got different level of gangsters, when you talking about certain levels of gangsters, you have to realize, do you really want this fight? Okay, you never pick a fight you can't win. All right, that's just in the book, in the art of war. Sun Tzu would never pick a fight that you not absolutely sure you're gonna win. If not, sit your ass down.
Yeah.
And when I saw Scandal, there was a dude on Scandal. As soon as I saw him, he reminded me of Mike Klein. That was Jake. Jake from Scandal. And I saw him. He came into the thing, and how the things he had to do, he immediately reminded me of Mike Klein. Yep.
Wow. Now, what do you know, if anything, about what Mike Klein had to do with Suge Knight backing off Easy?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It just,
you know if there's any truth to it?
Based on what I heard back in the day, and Jerry's depiction of Mike's connections and what kind of guy he was, it would be behooving to Suge not to push that button, because he was more higher level security, and he was an executive too, but he also was a high level security cat also.
Okay, there it is, guys.
JDL, Brent Frank called it JDL. That's what it was. JDL, Jewish Defense League. That's right.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people have said that they don't believe that this part in Straight Outta Compton where Eazy-E was roughed up and beat up, you know, the whole part where he got his face bashed in and stuff like that in the studio after meeting with them. Where do you stand on that? Just knowing Eazy.
I heard that happened. I heard that was legitimate. To what degree? Don't know how it was. I heard it was some intimidation. It wasn't so much maybe a physical altercation, but it was some intimidation practices implied to make him sign the paperwork.
Yeah, interesting story, man. Buckshot L64 says, Lonzo, can you talk about your club current affair?
Current affair. Got the current affair, I think in like 87, 88, 98, 88, 98, 97, 98. It was something that I was kind of not really forced into it. I was talked into it. I was officially out of the club business, didn't want anything to do with the club business. And Roger from Uncle Jam's Army, he read in Billboard that me and Dre had settled a lawsuit, and I got about 40 grand. And he hit me, man, you ought to come up, we ought to open this club up. Now, Roger always wanted to run the club, but Roger don't have the patience for the club. He always wanted to promote a club, but never had the patience. Man, you could do it. You could do it. You could run the club. I could bring in acts, blah, 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 blah. That's how we got to Dramatics at the current affair. And when we first got there, I got the money from the settlement, and we had to go in there and start fixing shit right away to get ready to open up. And Roger didn't have any money at the time, and he was kept promising me he'd have the money for me after you do this Uncle Jam's Army reunion. And I'm spending money. I'm about 15,000 in, dude. I'm 15 racks in. I done painted inside the building, put a dance floor in here. We did the bathrooms. Had to clean the kitchen. The club was pretty much just, it wasn't abandoned, but it just wasn't well maintained to my standard. So I had to go and make it look right because, you know, that's what I do. And it started off real good because it already had a built-in clientele, had a band, an older clientele with a band. I mean, the band fell out because the band wanted to play a drum machine. The drummer didn't show up a couple times, and he still wanted me to pay for the drum machine. Hold on, man, I'm not doing that. I'm paying for 5 guys. I got 4, and you want me to pay for the drum machine? Oh, and it sounded like shit. That's the bad part about it. It wasn't like it was a Prince situation. That shit sounded like had a little old 909 or some shit. Anyway, when it came time to pay the money, finally, Roger didn't come up with the money, and I had to pull the plug. Hey, man, after this right here, if you ain't got it, I got to go by myself. And he tried to make it up by bringing the Dramatics over to the club. That didn't do a whole lot. It was good for that one night, but didn't do a whole lot for long term. And I stayed there, man, for about 6 years till I got to Hollywood Park Casino. And while I was at the current affair, Roger opened up a club at the Hollywood Park Casino called Brown Sugar. And people don't understand, he and I go back and forth like this, man. We going back and forth. And now he got me into the current affair. And then when he got mad at me, he went to the Hollywood Park Casino, opened a club over there, and was whooping my ass. Okay. But then he got kicked out of the Hollywood Park Casino. My shit came back again. And then shortly after that, we started having some structural problems at the current affair, plumbing problems, roofing problems. And because we were subleasing the building, the owner wouldn't fix nothing. So I make money on Friday and Saturday. I got to put it back into his building to fix the damn roof or do some. I'm like, fuck this. I'm ready to go. But just so happened, here's how life works out. Just so happened, my cousin who worked at the Hollywood Park Casino worked for the general manager. He was assistant, he was vice president. She was my waitress on the weekend, his assistant 5 days a week. And she would go back to him and just be talking about how the club was doing and my cousin club is doing great, blah, blah, blah. And one day out of the clear blue sky, he says to her, hey, tell your cousin, if he ever wants a club in the Hollywood Park Casino, give me a call. Well, goddamn it, I started dialing, okay? I'm tired of spending money on somebody else's building. And sure enough, we cut a deal to go to the Hollywood Park Casino. And as soon as I did, me and Roger fell out again. He hadn't been in that club for 18 months, but he was mad because I was in that motherfucking club, okay? And I mean, it was a whole nother situation. And again, people who don't know the ins and outs of our relationship, accuse me of hating on. I'm not hating on. I'm telling you the story, okay? Unfortunately, he's not here to tell his side of the story. In fact, speaking of the dramatics, when I was at the Hollywood Park Casino, one of my clients, my accountant, he had a client that was doing a party for the dramatics. She loved the dramatics. She had booked him, paid him a full fee to play at the with Shalimar on Crenshaw. Mavericks Flat. Okay. Well, my accountant said, go see my boy over at the Hollywood Park Casino. Maybe I can work a deal over there. And we did. She comes over to see me, sees the club, meets me, understands I know how to promote. She started giving me money. She gave me like $4 or $5 grand that day to bring the dramatics from the Maverick Flats to the Hollywood Park Casino. And as soon as the word got out to Roger, it was a problem. And it got so bad that the dramatics were about to cancel the show. Lady had blood pressure, went through the roof. It was a 50th birthday party. All this money tied up, so I had to cancel my show at the Hollywood Park Casino so she can take it back to Mavericks Flat, so that Roger wouldn't have a hair up his ass. Oh, it was crazy back then, man. And that was the one time I'd planned on doing some shit to him, and the only reason why I didn't do it, because my son was about 3 or 4 years old. And he at that time, every time I put on my shoes, he started grabbing his. Where you going, Daddy? I'm going to take care of the business. I'm going with you. No, you can't. He started crying. And when he started crying, I gave me time to think. I said, this brother got a bad heart. If I go over here and do something to him because I'm pissed off and he died, I'm going to catch a case. And that changed my mind. Simple as that. And we never had a fist fight, but I wanted to whoop his ass a couple times, though. And that was the difference. That's the difference in today's times and back then. Okay. My daddy told me, I learned a long time ago. My daddy said, man, if somebody have a heart attack, you push them and they fall while you fighting or arguing, you're going to catch a case. That's the case. If somebody has a heart attack while you fighting with them, you could be in a heated argument depending on the circumstances, and they have a heart attack while you're having an argument, you can catch a case. You got to go defend yourself against the law saying, hey, man, it wasn't that serious. I didn't know he had this. We were just arguing, and he dropped dead. Well, did you hit him? Blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't do that. You might get away with it. But if you touch him, and this is what my lawyer partner told me, if they die within a year, you can catch a case.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. One of my boys that I was doing my podcasting classes over on the internet during the pandemic. One of my boys said one day kept him from going to jail for life. He got into an argument with his dad, and his dad got sick and was about to die, and he died one day short of the statute of limitations, and he didn't go to prison. One day, okay. If he had died the day before, he got 25 to life.
Damn, dude. Listen to that, kids. So quick to, well, kids nowadays, they shoot, but you know, if you think you're going to be getting into fights and just punching people out, it can get deep. It can get really deep. So just be careful out there.
Niggas think they shoot at somebody and the bullet gonna stop and turn back around or some shit. Nigga, that might keep on going through somebody's house, somebody's window, somebody's car, and you must run and catch you a case. Somebody in the whole family be fucked up for no reason because you did some dumb shit. That's why I'm not that big of a fan of open carry. Because if you get to shooting, bullets start flying down the street, man, you ain't no telling what a bullet can do to somebody. In fact, I just saw a feed today on a news feed today where 5 people got shot. Cops were shooting at one dude, missed him, and hit 5 other people. Okay, so 5 people got shot because one guy he had a gun. They say he dropped the gun, but the cops were shooting at him anyway. And 5 other people ended up with bullets in their ass behind one person.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like California's making it easier for us for CCW. What do you feel about that? Carry conceal.
You know, I used to carry all the time.
Against the law, though.
Oh, I used to carry out, man, shit. I don't know, man. I know it's good to be able to have it, but if you got to have it, you're in the wrong place anyway.
Yeah, like I don't feel comfortable going to Food for Less with a pistol on my hip. It just seems so weird. Like, but yeah,
it's almost like they trying to almost they condoning mass shootings where you know it's okay to carry your pistol because somebody might start shooting. Man, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? That makes sense to somebody. Teachers got to have guns. I mean, dude, I've been in situations where I could have pulled my gun and shot somebody, but the last thing you want to do, I had a guy walk up on me one time with his gun in his hand. He was drunk, and I was at Eve After Dark, and he had done this twice before. I got my gun on me, and do I really want to shoot this man? I probably can shoot him and get away with it, but do I really want to do that? Okay, do I really want to? You know, he was talking shit. You know, and I know he was talking shit, and he flashed his little gun. I got my 44 on me. If I pull out this shit, we get to shoot. There's gonna be a bunch of bullets flying everywhere. And you know, he walked away, and thank God he did, and thank God because I had the gun had one of my guns in my pocket. I might have blew my dick off or some shit. You know, no man, it ain't worth the tip of my dick to prove. You know, but cats will take that as an opportunity to shoot somebody. And back in my day, shooting somebody wasn't a badge of honor like it is right now. It's almost a badge of honor. Like you remember your boy Kodak Black? Oh, I finally got shot. You know,
man.
Bro, please. I finally got shot. What's wrong with you, dude? You know, what's wrong with you, man? And that's some type of badge of honor to get shot.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm glad you brought Kodak Black up because this dude just stays getting arrested. He got arrested again this week. Did you hear? He got arrested with like 300 pills and $75,000. He was in a car with that. So, you know, obviously he gets arrested till they figure things out. But yeah, this dude just can't keep his ass out. Like if you've been in and out of jail as many times as he has, wouldn't you stay away from anything pills and anything illegal weapons?
You would back in the day, but nowadays, nah. Because going to jail is no big deal. You know, going to jail is no big deal. You probably got a bunch of buddies in jail. If you already accustomed to alternative lifestyles and, you know, various sexual preferences, you know, you still can get surfaced in jail. If that don't bother you, it don't bother you. Okay. If it's not an issue for you, what the hell? I mean, you see videos sometimes of guys in jail partying, man, like they're having a good time. You know, if that's what you do, you got enough buddies in jail, I guess you can make it work.
Man, did you hear that Atlanta DA or that Georgia DA, the female girl, the sister, is she said that more indictments or more gang indictments or whatever will be coming down within the next 60 days, just like the Young Thug thing.
I heard that.
Yeah, she ain't playing, man.
Well, you know what? Here's the part that people take for granted. Everybody, so for some reason, all the lawmakers have gotten kind of soft. We've been so hard, 3 strikes, and all these other people going to jail for life for stealing pizza and shit like that. You do during the 80s, early 80s, shit got so crazy. They came up with all these hard ass laws to try and deter people, and they slowed a lot of shit down. But a lot of people got caught up in the net unexpectedly. Okay. And they, you got a felony, you get caught in the 3rd felony, bam, you got to go to jail for life. And that shit, that's some hard shit to do. That's unfair. Okay. Then they loosen the reins too goddamn loose. Okay. So now you got people running up in stores, damn near with calculators, trying to figure out how to steal just under $900 worth of shit, so they ain't got to go get a felony. Okay. And in some cases, the security guard and the cops don't even show up. So that means the store owners are at the mercy of the thieves. I read something the other day where a lot of your 99-cent stores are shutting down because they can't afford the pilferages, the theft. So that hurts everybody. But if you can walk into the store and grab a bunch of shit and just walk out, why even have a cashier? Especially at 99 cents. You know how much shit you can get for 99 cents? How many bags you can fill up for 99 cents and won't get $1,000 worth of shit? You can probably wipe out a whole goddamn aisle. Okay? You could probably wipe out a whole damn aisle in the 99-cent store and probably won't even break $500. Okay? Just for conversation's sake. So that means people can go in there and do whatever they want, and there's nobody to hold them accountable. And when people aren't held accountable, that's a problem. It's the same problem we got when it comes to this January 6th shit. If nobody's held accountable for that shit, they're going to do it again. One thing about it, getting an ass whooping back in the day, if you got an ass whooping, you know you did something wrong. Okay? You knew you did something wrong, and your chance of doing it again, every time you thought about doing it again, your ass whooping reminded you. Okay? And that's where we are right today. There's no reason to do certain shit, not do certain shit because you're not accountable.
Man. You know what? Derek Mallory says, Lonzo, I bet that fan enjoyed that Dr. Dre's old outfit from the early 80s that you just sold. Did you? Oh, so you sold the Dr. Dre's one of the sequins outfits?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was it the one you had in the back of you?
No, that's mine. Dre's was red.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But it wasn't shit compared to what they got for Biggie's crown.
Oh, what?
They got 600,000 for Biggie's.
Oh.
And I didn't realize. I'm starting to realize hip hop collectors ain't no joke. Hip hop
nostalgia is a mother.
They out there. They got money. They are. I mean, some of the stuff some of the prices Yella get for some of this stuff. I'm like, whoa, dude. I'm like, I think I showed you.
And we're talking about all over the world. This is all over the world. All races, all colors, white, black, Asian.
So as hip hop getting older and older, and a bad thing and a good thing is, a bad thing, there's not a lot of hip hop memorabilia. You can't just go down and buy certain shit. I mean, it's starting to pop up now, but it's cheap shit. You got the little bobbleheads that supposed to be Eazy-E, but don't look nothing like him. It's just a big old bobblehead and the same head on different bodies. Okay, Tupac got one. Cube got one, and they're trying to $10. But when it comes down to the actual marketing of the merchandise for hip hop artists, there's nobody has really captured that market in a major way. Snoop is making some shit happen. Okay, them Snoop and Death Row jackets is costing a grip. Okay, they're like $400-500. Okay, they ain't playing. So, but I'm just saying, overall, I mean, you might find some stuff but it's not like the rock and roll shit, man. Rock and roll, they get their merchandise money. Okay. But and because of that, when people find something, they want it. Okay. When they find something, they want it. And that's the beautiful part of it.
Man. Yeah. Jay Ferris says, Lonzo, how did Eazy's group Blood of Abraham come to be?
Don't know.
Do you know much about them?
I know one friend of mine, her brother was in Blood of Abraham.
It was David. It was Mazik and Benyad. Those are the two guys. Benjamin and David.
I don't know which one is which, but I know she said her brother was in Blood of Abraham, and I think that was something that Jerry Heller may have wanted. Man, you know, they came down there. They wanted to represent all cultures. You know, you had the Ruthless had a big Latino situation. They had Kid Frost for a while. They had a couple other acts. I know him and Toker from Brownside was cool. So maybe this might have been a cultural thing, man. Just show some diversity.
Mm-hmm. They had a song apparently called Niggas and Jews, but it was originally supposed to be called Niggas and Rhymes with Bikes.
Okay.
Is that what I'm saying? And apparently that ain't flying, right? That ain't flying.
Here's the part that I never seem to understand. How is it that you got to change bikes, that word, but you can still keep niggas? I never understood that.
Thank you, man, because we accept that shit.
You know what? And I said that in Sacramento the other day. One of the reasons why the hood is the way it is, because we accept it. We accept drive-bys, we accept trash, we accept inferior schools, we accept we protect the gangsters. You know, we've been convinced that if you report a crime, you're a snitch. Well, basically, I said this in Sacramento. Sacramento was going through what they call a gentrification. Gentrification can be determined by a couple of different ways. If you are a person who's been in a community for a long time and you watch that community decline, it's drive-bys, gangbanging, graffiti, bullshit, blah, 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 and something happens that just sparks you, say, fuck it, I'm out, okay? My mama house is worth X amount of bucks. I can go get me a pad in Moreno Valley and I got to put up with all this bullshit. It's hotter, but I ain't got to put this bullshit. And somebody else buys your house that don't look like you. And because they got an investment, they understand the investment in the community, not just the property, but the community. And when shit start happening, they start telling him, I'll be at court Monday. I'll be at court at 8:00. No problem. I'll testify. And what happens now is that shit start dissipating because now folks realize, oh shit, they ain't gonna play the same games with us that the brothers played. And because people don't want to be around that shit. That's why people move out and people move in. And when they move in, they start doing stuff to the house. They buy the property. They come in with with money, redevelop it, remodel the property, and they ain't going nowhere for a while. And that's how the hood. They were talking about that in Sacramento. And sometimes it can be gentrification, and sometimes it's just redevelopment, man. Sometimes you got an old ass piece of property that if you don't spend some money on it, it's gonna fucking fall down. Okay, you got brick buildings that not earthquake retrofitted. You have houses that's made out of wood, got termites having Thanksgiving dinner every day. And if you don't make a change, but the person who owns it can't make that change. Okay, if you are a senior citizen and you're on a fixed income, you might not be able to get a loan to fix your property up because you can't pay it back. So you sell it and buy something different. Okay, move one of your kids or something like that. I don't know, but I'm just saying these are some of the situations, some of the circumstances that make gentrification possible. And then when the new developers come in, they coming in with everything. They coming in everything high as hell. Wood done went up. The cost of labor done went up. Land done went up. So you can't sell a house for $200,000. You got $400,000 in it. So you got to sell it for 6 or 7 just to get your money back. And that was the issue. I was talking to a gentleman today on one of my other podcasts from Compton. They're trying to figure out. They have some houses coming into Compton, but they're all 700,000 plus. They got 2 under 700,000, maybe 4 or 5. Okay, but even that can be hard to qualify. You got to make 100,000 plus to qualify for that type of loan. You got to damn near make $80,000 a year just to get a fucking apartment.
Yep.
Okay.
Man.
You got to make a grip just to get an apartment, qualify for an apartment these days.
Crazy, bro, especially in LA.
And your rent goes up every maybe might go up every year. Thank God when you own a piece of property, if you have a fixed loan, your house note won't go up. The cost of keeping that some bitch standing up might go up because you're gonna need roofs and plumbing problems. I need some shit done in my house right now. You probably got a good plumber. Anyway, it's just that's the pros and cons of ownership versus renting. You're a homeowner, right, Dusty?
Yep, I sure am. Yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that shit's on you. If you ain't got the money for a roof $20,000. Give a damn. Roof is 20 racks. Okay. I got to get my house painted. They talking about 6 or 7 for just to paint the son of a bitch. Okay. 6 or 7 to throw some paint on it. All right. So these are things that you have to, take in consideration. And if you're an older person on fixed income, you ain't got that kind of money. You're an old lady, husband gone, you getting this pension, but you can pay the note, but you ain't got a whole bunch of extras. So if somebody, makes you an offer and your kids to come live with us, granny, shit, usually that house gonna go up in value, and that's your retirement money, and that what you paid for it versus what it's worth now is enough for most people to retire on, okay, and live comfortably with somebody or in a retirement situation. So the people that buy it probably ain't gonna look like you because they can't afford to do they can't afford to buy it what you did. These houses that was shit 15, 20,000 back in the 60s and 70s, it's 700,000-800,000 now.
Yep. Learning that game tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got about 5 more minutes. What's coming up on Thursday, Lonzo?
Man, don't know. Right now, one of my boys is trying to get me, Curtis Blow, and Dr. Dre back on Clubhouse. We were on Clubhouse 2 weeks ago. Yes, 6,000 people tuned in the Clubhouse listening to us talk. And that was all impromptu. It was all impromptu. They hit me up. I was just so happened I wasn't doing that that afternoon, and I was able to chime in. And by the time we chimed in at the peak of the conversation, we had almost 6,500 people on the call. And he wants to reenact that again because some of the things we said, we didn't promote it. It was just something we just did. So I guess when you got some OGs talking, people like listening.
Yep. King D says, man, 7 o'clock comes fast when you're chilling with Lonzo and Dusty. Man, now I got to listen to my girl. We're glad we could give you an hour away from your girl, man. If we're really happy that we could do that for you. But anything coming up, Lonzo? I know you're a busy man, dude.
Man, I'm going to be at the Poppin' Picnic Saturday, hanging out with the folks. Also, if y'all looking at the crawl at the bottom of the screen, please download the Compton Entertainment Chamber app. It's available on Android and iPhone. All these videos, you can see everything I'm doing, pictures, all my podcasts, videos on there, and I'm working on it tonight. I'm going to add the link so that if you can't listen to it, you can't watch it, you can listen to it. So this app I have allows you to play all kind of stuff. So I'm gonna be doing that tonight. So you'll be able to check out the podcast, hook it to your phone. You want to hear what we got to say? You want to ride down the street and check us out? Bam, there you go.
Love it. And before we go, I'm gonna ask you guys one last time to hit that like button if you haven't already. That really helps us out. It helps the algorithm. It helps YouTube know that we're alive and we're spreading the message. So please do that. Please hit that notification bell button if you're subscribed also. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, and every Thursday, same time, pretty much, Lonzo, right? You guys kind of change it up a little bit sometime.
Every once in a while, we had to flip it up a little bit. But yeah, folks, please download the app, push the like button. I got all kind of calls to action. Push the like button, download the app, download the Homegrown Media Network, all that stuff, folks. We making some things happen over here, and we appreciate your support. All right, Dusty, much love to you, Doc. Next Tuesday. Until then, we are out of here, folks. Y'all be good.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.